Hello everyone, are you ready for another anime recap? Then subscribe right now to this Anime Plots YouTube channel and watch this full video. Did you subscribe? Okay, let's start the video.
Overhaul, the young boss of the Yakuza group the Shie Hassaikai, suggests that the League of Villains work under him, as he will be the next leader of the Shadows, since All For One is now gone. But then he absolutely pastes Magne while being rushed. Alright, there's some death for you in MHA. After Shigaraki gets in on the action and the others from the Shie Hassaikai appear, Overhaul says they should stop, and talk later once their heads have cooled. At UA, All Might has Mirio introduce Deku to his former sidekick Nidai for a potential work study, and Deku walks into an HR nightmare before trying to win Nidai over with an All Might impression. Nidai's next test of stamping his work study papers. It's a bit unfair since Nidai's quirk allows him to see someone's future decisions for an hour after he touches and locks eyes with them, but he still allows Deku to do his work study there. He wants Deku to see that the true worthy successor to One For All is Mirio, as he would have been had All Might not met Deku. It's the first day of the work study, and surprise, there's a little girl running away from Overhaul, scared as hell. As Overhaul is still being investigated for the right time to infiltrate him, the two don't want to give away too much, and eventually Eri returns. At the hideout, Overhaul takes Eri to his experimentation room and tells her to not run away because she's the crux of his operation. Meanwhile, this time, Shigaraki goes to meet Overhaul and agrees to join, only as equals and not underlings, and if they can share their plan with him. It appears to involve both quirk nullification and quirk enhancing drugs, both of which were at play during Kirishima's work-study fight. There's a meeting led by Nidai with a bunch of pro-heroes, including the work-study students. They deduce that Overhaul is breaking down parts of Eri's body and putting it into quirk-destroying bullets. To save her, they will investigate all the locations of the Shie Hassaikai to see which one has her. Eventually, they find the right location and it's time to strike, except the Yakuza are also aware of what's happening as a huge buff dude comes out to attack. Ryukyu transforms and deals with the guy and says her agency will hold him off as the rest rush into the hideout. As the gang gets underground, a villain named Mimic merges with the walls and makes the place nearly impossible to navigate. Nearly impossible, as Mirio uses permeation to go on ahead by himself. But the rest are thrown below and are faced with 3 of the 8 bullets of the Hassaikai. Shai Tamaki says he can take all of them by himself, and that the others shouldn't waste their time here. Fatgum agrees and heads out with the others. After a tough fight, he eventually eats the crystal of one of the villains to produce it himself and slams them with a giant chicken leg. Kirishima also gets his moment to shine after him and Not So Fat Anymore Gum get separated from the group. After Twice and Toga showed up to help the Shie Hassaikai, but instead did a little bit of trolling, betrayed them, and then peaced out, Mirio catches up to Overhaul and his goons trying to escape with Eri. He freaking phases through Eri, landing a kick on a goon and retrieves her. Overhaul breaks up the ground and his henchman tries to shoot Mirio, but he hides behind his cape. Except he's not really hiding, he slips underground instead, catching the enemy by surprise. However, this also leaves Eri alone, and she's about to get shot with one of the few permanent quirk-destroying bullets. Mirio, who doesn't realize it's not a regular bullet, which is kind of unfortunate because her getting shot right there actually would have solved a lot of problems, he takes the hit instead. Even though he's now quirkless, Mirio continues to fight like a champ. Eventually though, when he's just about at his limit, Deku bursts through the wall. He punches Overhaul, but then the Yakuza boss deconstructs himself and his henchmen and then freaking fuses together, creating a multi-limbed monstrosity. He's able to pierce Nidai through the stomach, and as Deku's unable to land a clean hit, Ryukyu and her team crash through the ceiling, thanks to some meddling by Twice and Toga. He accidentally goes 100% with One For All, and the shockwaves send them high up. It's the perfect combination that can go head-on with an again fused Overhaul. This time with the big guy from the start, and he defeats Overhaul. Nidai is stunned to see that the future he saw was different. Deku has indeed twisted fate. Or maybe it's Eri, because her power is going way out of control, nearly killing Deku, but thankfully, Aizawa is there to block her quirk. While the police are transporting the villains to a jail hospital, it's time for the real villains to step in. They ambush the cops and deal with Overhaul by removing his arms so he becomes quirkless. Damn, that's ironic. Oh yeah, and they also take the remaining quirk erasing bullets. Unfortunately though for the heroes, Nidai won't make it out alive, and with his quirk, he leaves a parting message for his protege Mirio, that he will be a finer hero than anyone else. R.I.P. Up in the mountains, we see Gran Torino and the police track down and capture Kurogiri, but are unable to deal with the kaiju that apparently All For One raised. So yeah, that's something to look out for. The work-study group returns to UA, while Shoto and Bakugo continue their remedial provisional license training. This time, both Endeavor and All Might show up, along with Inasa and the girl Toga impersonated. Their task is to win the hearts of kids, which starts off as a struggle cause they're all kinda dumbasses. Meanwhile, Endeavor asks All Might, what is the symbol of peace? Eventually though, they make a sick slide, so it's all chill and they pass the exercise. We're also introduced to the quirk singularity theory, which is that with each passing generation, quirks mix and get stronger and complex, and one day they will be too hard to control, causing a doomsday scenario. Now that's pretty interesting. Endeavor listens to All Might's answer while watching Shoto play happily with children. Afterwards, he tells Shoto how proud he is of him, but Shoto's not really having it. Still, Endeavor vows to become a hero his son can be proud of. Alright, now it's fun school festival time and Class 1A plans to do a concert with Jiro as the lead singer. During break time, Deku trains with All Might for long-range finger wind blast attacks like the good old days. Except this time without breaking his bones in the process. Elsewhere, we have a pro-hero school dropout turned gentle criminal and sidekick. It's time for the school festival to start, but Deku is running a little late because he's busy beating up gentle criminal. They happen to bump into each other because of plot. But he ends up making it on time, and Class 1A puts on a pretty nice concert as Jiro kills the vocals and the effects are also on point. The crowd is having a blast, especially Eri, who smiles for the first time. That's really sweet. School festival success. It is now time for the JP Hero Billboard chart. We got Ryukyu at 10, some old guy at 9, a laundry machine at 8, Kamui Woods shooting up the ranks at 7, Crust at 6, Bunny Girl at 5, Edshot at 4, Best Genius still around at 3, the Young Hawks at 2, and of course, Endeavor at number 1, finally reaching the top spot. They do some interviews, but Hawks is not feeling the boring-ass answers and doesn't want heroes to play it safe. This makes it a bit awkward for Endeavor, but when handed the mic, he simply says, "Just watch me." Later on, Hawks takes Endeavor to lunch to discuss the potential of more Nomus coming about. And well, what do you know, one of them comes crashing through. Elsewhere, the Todoroki family are talking about Endeavor officially becoming the number 1 hero. While Natsuo cannot forgive his father, Rei says that despite everything, she thinks Endeavor is trying to make amends. Back at the battlefield, we get one of the best fights in My Hero with High-End versus Endeavor and Hawks. This Nomu is somewhat intelligent, and uses its greater strength and speed to overwhelm the number 1 hero, leaving him battered and barely conscious. People everywhere are looking on in shock, including Shoto. There is complete panic in the area, as the crowds do not have the same faith in Endeavor like they did with All Might. But still, Endeavor, who can barely move his body, launches himself forward with heat. Hawks helps by sending a few feathers to Endeavor, who takes the Nomu way up in the sky, free of civilians. Seeing his past self in the Nomu, Endeavor unleashes his ultimate move to scorch everything. Prominence burn. The two crash down to the ground, but it's only Endeavor who's left alive and standing. And for the future number 1 hero Deku, he has a weird dream where he sees the previous One For All users and also All For One. As the younger brother of All For One and the first One For All user reaches out to Deku, he wakes up with his quirk spontaneously activated.
How was the video? We hope it was good. If so, please check these videos. Also, please comment down your thoughts and your suggestions for future videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing now to show the support to our channel. We hope to see you soon with another video right in this channel. Have a nice day.